Welcome back, Paradise Gym, my place of physical change and spiritual reflection. As always, we should get started giving God all the praise and glory, thanking Him for His love, His grace that we find in Christ Jesus. Now, last week, talked a lot about foundation, building a strong foundation when it comes to our training. We have three major muscle groups. That's leg, chest, back. And so last week we talked about legs and how some sort of squat is actually going to be very beneficial to build a good, strong foundation. Starting to build from the bottom up. All right. Squats helps with hamstrings, quads, glutes, calves. Helps with flexibility in the knees and ankles. Again, doesn't always have to be weighted squats. I know weighted squats can be tough on some of your joints. I understand that. I'm not talking about having to go heavy. Of course, leaving our egos at the door. I'm talking about just being better, get some of that flexibility, getting some of that mobility back, build some of that strength back, and to let our bodies know that it's time to continue to build muscle. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean that we have to start to let our muscles and our bodies begin to break down. They break down because we're stop using those muscles. We've got to continue to use them to let our bodies know. Our bodies are made to adapt to whatever we're going through. So if we're not using it, the body's not going to use it. But if we're using it, then the body's going to tell itself, we got to continue to grow, continue to stay strong, so we can continue to adapt to the stress or the resistance that we're putting on that muscle. So we've got to let our bodies know. Just because we're older doesn't mean we got to break down, all right? But we're going to train wiser. We're going to use all our wisdom that we've had and become better, all right? So all the wisdom and things that we've gone through in our lives and in our training, things that cause us injuries, we're going to stop doing that. We're going to work around those things, leaving the ego at the door. I keep saying that because that was my biggest issue that I had, and it was always lift as heavy as I possibly could. And yeah, I got stronger, but also have a lot of injuries behind it too. So today I'm training more for, still I want to be strong, but training more for the more aesthetic look, keep my flexibility, keep my muscles growing, keep my muscles strong. I want to keep this body as healthy as I can. I got to do my part. I want to be here for my kids for as long as I can be. All right, so again, trying to reverse the clock as much as I can, and what's good about this channel, what's helping me is I can look back at my old videos, and you guys can go back and look when I first started and see where I was. And my goal is to continue to be as strong as I was then, and hopefully even stronger, hopefully even bigger, stronger, and more flexible and mobile, and just all of that. So right now it's the old younger me versus the new older me, if that makes sense. All right, so that's what I'm using to for my motivation, and so you guys can kind of follow along. And I'm just doing these to help you guys as I'm starting my new journey and back and trying to get back in shape and be stronger and better. I'm just trying to take you through some tips, things that I've learned over the years to help me when I began training before, and I'm hoping I can, those of you who are just new to training can do the same. One thing I do want to mention though is I was talking to a good friend, and the thing was, went out to buy some weights and things, talking about how expensive those things can be, and they can be. I get it, but if you guys look at go back again, look at one of the older videos that I've done, and see all my gym equipment and what you guys can see right here. All of this has all been, it's just used equipment, guys. I just take my time, my yard sales, Craigslist, played against sports, and if you want, and if you haven't done so, just mention to some family and friends that you're trying to do some things, you're trying to get back into better, and you're trying to work out, and you're looking for equipment. You'll be surprised at how many of your family, how much family or friends may have something that they're not even using, and they may be willing to give to you. You know, I thank my brother all the time. You know, he helped me out with a lot of the stuff I have in here, things that he wasn't using. He works out too, but there's just always, everybody has something that they don't use. And so he said, here, I don't use this. And thankful, you know, my younger brother gave me some 45s that he wasn't using, that he had just sitting outside, and I thank him for that. One day I had the neighbor come over and he was just looking for a straight bar, the standard bar, which I hardly ever use because I use more Olympic weights than the standard bar. And so he's like, hey, do you have a standard bar that you don't use? I said, yeah. I let him take it, and 5 minutes later he comes back and he's bringing me a couple of dumbbells. He brought me some 30s, some 35s, and it was just a quick trade, and it wasn't even something that I planned. All right, but guys, it's just take your time and take your time, but you gotta keep your eyes open. And you gotta be looking, of course, but you can get some decent equipment cheap. You just gotta take your time and look for it. All right. Enough about that. Get back to the training. All right. Last week we talked about legs. Today we're going to talk about training chest. All right. Again, I'm more for the beginner, but of course I try to throw in some things that advance, and later on maybe I'll do some full on how I'm actually big heavy lifting training, still maintaining the right rep range to continue to build muscle, continue to stay strong, but not doing the mistakes that I did in the past. But we'll get there when we get there. All right. But again, so for starters, make sure you're warming up the shoulders. Me, like I said before, I hurt my shoulders many times in the past, and they still bother me today. I've hurt my forearms more on this right side. And again, it's one of those things that it just comes back to haunt me more and more, but I've learned to train around them. And one of the main things is from learning from the old me is gotta warm up. All right, you gotta warm up. It's critical that we warm up. So I always start off with good, nice, get those shoulders warm, burning. And then we're gonna reverse. Then I put my here, and I just turn my wrist. That's right there. It gets my wrist warm, gets the biceps warm, and it gets the forearms warm. All right, I try to do these all the time now. That just really does help to warm me up and get me ready to go for my training. Then I'll do another set. I add a little bit of light weight to it. This is only 5 pounds each, guys. It's not heavy, but again, just getting ready to prepare for the resistance, warming the body up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 4, 6, 8, 10. And again, here, warming it up. All right. Now when you train, be as unorthodox as you need to be. I do a lot of things that people would say it doesn't work. People say they've never seen it before. I do what works best for me, okay? And you need to do the same, because what works for somebody else doesn't necessarily is gonna work for you. Everybody's made different, all right? So yeah, we can we can learn from each other, but again, pick the things that work for you, use them. Things that don't work for you, throw it out. Be unorthodox, train for what works best for you. Mind and muscle connection, very, very important. You gotta have the mind and muscle connection in order for things to work. All right, so if you begin to lose that, you begin to lose your form, good way to hurt yourself. Be very, very smart and wise when you train. This machine right here is made for legs. I've learned to use it for my legs, and I use it for shoulder presses. It puts me in an inclined position, and it actually helps me to be able to warm my shoulders up, helps me to warm my chest up before I start to do chest exercises. When I do these, I have no shoulder pain at all. And that's why, because it really gets the blood going, really gets the blood flowing to the shoulders, the upper pecs, and I'm ready to go before I start training chest. All right, so I usually do like 2 to 3 sets of this. And I just get under it. Again, it doesn't have to be this. You may not have this, but you do what works for you and what's going to get you ready to go and warmed up for your workouts. All right. blood flowing, nice and warm, starting to sweat. All right, now I'm ready to go. Everything's feeling really, really good right now. Once you start getting warmed up, you'll find out your workouts are a whole lot better than if you try to get in there and try to do it cold. You don't want to do that. All right. So, constantly working the pecs, chest, slow and controlled, and we're pushing. Pushing, all right? And squeeze it at the top. Go down and squeeze it at the top, right? And a big staple that I have in all my workouts is push-ups. I do push-ups in the morning before I take a shower, before I go to work. I do push-ups in my workouts. All right, very, very important. Over the years, if I do nothing else, I always do push-ups. It really helps to get the blood flowing, helps to keep muscles strong, right? I know not everybody can do push-ups. So, again, focused on beginners. If you don't know, if you can't do push-ups, I'm not strong enough, I've never been able to do them before, I'm new to training, what can I do? All right. If you have a counter, you have a sink, you have a couch, you have a chair, it's all you need. All right. You have a wall. All right. What you want to do is do them elevated until you get stronger. Start from the highest point that you possibly can, and as days go by, weeks go by, start going down farther and farther as you get stronger. It's going to help to build overall the meat of the triceps. You're going to start to hit the shoulders, hit some of that upper chest, and start really getting better and stronger, okay, as we go. All right. So elevated, you can use a chair, whatever you have. You can use a couch. Again, you can use a countertop. You're here. You guys know I'm always raw, so this is always raw videos, guys. No editing, no nothing. So it is what it is. All right, but I'm here to help if I can. All right, see if I can adjust this a little bit. See if you can see a little bit better. All right. So here we go, guys. Here. Squeeze at the top as though you're trying to bring your elbows together at the top. Really feel the pecs, all right? Really squeeze your chest when you come up, right? So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? So, if you're doing these, all right, you're elevated. And every time you do them, maybe stick to a certain height for a week or so, and drop it down, do a little bit more, and do a little bit more, find something that's a little bit lower, so you can actually get down to the ground and do your push-ups, all right? Now, you may find that doing them elevated, you can do 20 or 30, let's just say. But as you get farther down, it's gonna be a little bit tougher, so you may find that your rep range starts to lower. Maybe you were doing 20 elevated, but as you get lower, you're only gonna do 15. And then you get lower, then you're only gonna do 10. Then you finally get on the ground, you're only gonna do 5. Though it seems like it's not working, it is working because you're actually now doing a full push-up on the ground and you have more resistance, so you're gonna do less. Okay, it's just like, basically it's like if you're adding weight, because now you're adding full body weight. So yeah, your rep range is gonna change, it's gonna drop some. All right, but as you get stronger, you'll see that your rep range will go back up. All right, so don't be discouraged by saying, oh, by thinking that, okay, if I could do 20 here, I need to do 20 as I get lower. No, it's going to be a little bit less, but you're getting stronger because you're adding more resistance, and your rep range will get a little bit lower. And then you'll reverse that as you get stronger, and you'll start going back up again. Okay, it's a great way to get started pushing. All right, so foundation, good strong foundation, working our way from the ground up. Legs, some type of squat, body weight squats is perfect. All right, and remember, try to open that chest up. And today we're talking about chest. So again, still working that chest muscle. All right, make sure we're squeezing at the top, nice and slow, actually feeling that muscle and squeeze it at the top, down, nice and slow, squeeze it once again. All right, again, I'm a firm believer in doing about 5 sets. All right, so we did 5 sets. We're gonna do, you can do 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 5, 5 sets of 1, if that's all you can do, but 5 sets. Start to get better, start to get stronger. Again, we're reversing the clock, and for me, it's me against the old me, okay? So it's the new, older, improved me against the old me, all right? But we'll see how that turns out. Again, I'm just taking you guys along with me as I begin to train and begin to do new things again, get back stronger, get better. I want to be better than I was yesterday. That's my goal. Better than I was yesterday, all right? And of course, guys, as always, give God all the praise and glory and thank Him. Thank Him for our good health and our strength. And, you know, because if it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't even be here today. All right, so we just always give God all the praise and glory. And until next time, as always, to God